Can a child's passion towards music be destroyed? I want to use the word destroyed. Be shattered by their music teacher? The answer is obvious. The answer is yes. This can happen. Men, children, you agree with me. I want you to remember if you are an adult, I want you to remember your early years when you wanted to learn a musical instrument. Did you continue? If you didn't continue, what happened? Why did you stop? In this case, my focus is on the music teachers, us music teachers, and the impact that we have. So the answer is straightforward. Yes, a child's music career, passion, desire, name it, can easily be ruined by their music teachers, by us. I want us to look at how this can happen. We want to look at how a child's musical passion can be destroyed. And then we will look at how this could be prevented. And so if you are a music teacher friend, if you are really a music teacher, I want you to listen carefully. I want you to listen carefully. That when dealing with a life of a child, it's not about our qualifications. It's not about our competence. It's not about our experience. It's about how we apply our experiences, our knowledge, our qualifications, our experience in meeting the needs of every single child. And this is a task. So you may be qualified, you may be a professor, you may be a doctor, you may be anything, but that does not necessarily mean anything when it comes to dealing with the life of a child. It's how you apply those experiences, those qualifications, the knowledge that you have in meeting what is right for the child is what matters. And this is where everything comes in to be very crucial. Because we can be qualified. We can play music nicely. We can play instruments nicely. We can do everything nicely. But when we are entrusted with the life of a child or a learner, any learner, it's about knowing who the learner is. It's about knowing the child. And so if you can apply your qualifications and your knowledge rightly in ensuring that you bring out the best out of the child, then you're doing the right thing. So this topic is very crucial. Just a month ago, one parent came. And actually the parent came with a child. They were together with a child. And so this child was doing piano lessons with one of the professors from one of the universities in China. And so this professor, piano professor, was stretching the hands of the child to get the best out of the child. I don't know whether that was the best out of the child. And every time the child comes home, the mother says the child was in tears. And one day, this child came home and broke the keyboard. Just banged the piano and broke the keys that I don't want to do this anymore. And so, when I was listening to this story, the child stopped learning and moved to the flute. And so the child now is playing flute. And I realized how crucial music teachers are. And so this child's passion to learning piano was ruined by this piano professor. Factors that can make a child lose interest in music. One, when we become too strict. Too strict that the child can't even make a mistake in your lesson. When you start being so rigid with what you know, when the subject matter takes priority before the well-being of the child. Now I want you to listen to this. I want you to listen to this. When what you're teaching becomes a central focus than that of the well-being of the child, then there's a problem. When the subject, when music, when what you're teaching becomes the priority than the well-being of the child. Children come from different families. Some children, they are coming from families where there are no parents together. And when they come to a music class, they want to forget about the life around them. And then when they come to you, and you're also showing that you're too strict, I'm telling you, your subject will remain alone. So make sure that the well-being of the child is your priority. And when you know the child, then learning has taken place. Whatever you bring to the child, it will be receptive. It's not what you teach is important. It's how what you teach makes a child feel. What can make a child lose interest in music? When our expectations are not aligned with those of the children's needs. You know, whenever you start looking at music, and you look at the songs, sometimes you bring songs in a classroom and children say, no, I don't like it. Listen to the voice of the children. And maybe they might not like it, but if you do a lovely approach to the song, so it's all about creativity. It becomes to the qualities of an effective teacher, creativity. Let's move on because we are almost finishing. Some children, they want to learn music for recreational purposes. And so when the teacher has no clear understanding of the child's needs, children may look at music as a mistake. They may feel overwhelmed with things around them. So it's everything. You need to understand the children that you're dealing with. And you hear them say, I thought music was fun. I thought playing piano was fun. I thought this, it's really hard. When children start saying that, you need to introspect yourself. Factors that can make a child lose interest. You know, some children, they despise reading music. If you're a teacher, you realize that there's some children really who don't like to read music. And they don't like certain instruments. So some children who don't like recorders. So also, you need to understand those things. And when you know that this child doesn't like this, then you have to come up with an approach. And this comes again down to knowing the needs of your children. But remember that even if the children seem not to like some of your activities or instruments, with a good approach and with a good relationship with the children, you reason together, they might every time make sure that the child is involved in your class. Their voices should be heard. And when their voices are heard in their learning, in your learning, then you will all agree on one thing. When we put our professionalism first and fail to come down to the levels of the children and understand how they learn and what they love most, because we are too professional. We have to do this professionally. We have to sit on the piano like this professionally. We have to, hold the instrument like this professionally. Even when it's painful to the child, just go and hold it. When we introspect ourselves, when professionalism comes first, even that professionalism will remain, will damage the child's career. Let professionalism make a meaning to the life of a child. So, if you want the child to sit yes, that's the right way of sitting on the piano or holding the violin, but please understand your child. Right, we are almost coming to an end. And the last part is we can always prevent this from happening. We could have, the professor I was talking about who made the child destroy the piano could have prevented that. If he realized how overwhelming the lessons were to the child, if the professor understood, if the professor did not take the subject first than the well-being of the child, he could have prevented that and motivated the child. And so how can we prevent? I want you to listen to this. And I want you to read this because we are now coming to the end. We can prevent this by valuing our children's voices. Students need to feel that their involvement in learning to play an instrument provides them with a sense of personal choice and responsibility for reaching the goals that they set. They need to be heard. It's really important. And the other one says, allowing pupils to self-select their learning levels, giving them control in consultation with teachers. If you are a teacher, you are consulting each other with the child. Motivate them. We can prevent this if we put motivation as well. We incorporate motivation. By a motivating style that supports autonomy, values the student's perspective, and welcomes their thoughts and feelings so that instruction becomes a co-determined rather than a unilateral activity. This is very important. We can prevent this by knowing our children. You need to know your child. Create a healthy relationship with your students. And once you create a very healthy relationship, trust me, learning has taken place. The most crucial element is how do we create this relationship? Is by admitting that we are both learners. When we admit that we are both learners, when you are teaching a child, you are also learning. And you are also improving as a teacher. So by admitting that we are both, you and your child are both in that classroom where you're learning together, working together towards achieving certain goals. And that relationship, a healthy relationship, brings about healthy learning. And once that is created, trust me, a child will listen to you. Respect will come. Everything will just fall in place. Be patient with a child. We can avoid that when you are patient. When you know that this is very difficult for the child, go back, revise the subject. See how you can simplify it. Don't be too rigid. It comes back to that. Don't be rigid to say what should be done is this and it should be done the same way. There are so many ways you can get to the right thing. And that brings to the effective teacher who is creative, resourceful. So set targets, but don't be too rigid. Set targets, but don't be too rigid with your musical traditions, friends. And this is the last one, make music fun. The moment you make music fun, trust me, everything is possible. And that's what I had for you today. Please, as you work with children, learn them. Learn how they learn. Understand their needs. Understand their fears. Work together. Develop ideas together. And be patient with the child. Don't put your music first. Put the well-being of the children first. And when you reach to their levels, when you reach to the needs of the children, they will draw closer to you. Because they will now understand that indeed, this is a friend who understands my concerns, who understands my worries, who understands my fears, and is there to help me to reach my destination. And once that is created, friend, things will be easy. Your learning will be easy. You will benefit more because the child will do massive job. And your name will be just flying. And so don't be rigid. Don't stretch those fingers. Don't stretch the child's fingers. Teach, and you can still achieve what you want. I will end here, and I look forward to receiving your comments on this subject. And together we can help build a health community. I look forward to the next topic, which will be announced on the social media on the same page. And if you're not following, please just follow me or follow us, and then we will be together, or moving on this journey together, and discover as many things as possible on this journey. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to next time. And bye, and go out there and inspire one child.
You may be a music teacher, a musician, a school administrator, a parent, a music student, or even a music fan. Join John Chitambo, an accomplished international music educator, on an enriching online live stream show, Ask John, a community educational program where music-related issues are addressed. Every Sunday from 6 p.m. to 6:45 p.m. Malaysia time. That's 12 p.m.